Hello, it's me. That's how the theme song goes. It is your host for the podcast is Flag. If you didn't know, this is a podcast.
Welcome back to the Constitutionalist Podcast. I'm just kidding, guys. It's me. It's your boy, Chatty McD. Nope, that's not my name. That's not my name. Uh, this is this is Chad. Oh my God, I am in a silly mood today. Big news, big news, big news. I dropped one job, picked up two more jobs, and now I have three jobs. I'm serving and walking dogs, and I'm what's the last job? Moving. I'm doing moving. All this is save up so I can move out west. And it's gonna be very busy. Today was very busy. Today I walked five dogs today in the city of Atlanta. Drove down. I was very late to all of them, but you know what? Boy, was it a good time. I should probably mute the computer before it makes a noise. But we got a full slate today. Not really. I watched 4 movies this weekend from Redbox. So that's pretty much it. That's all I did. I'm a very boring person. I have nothing really going on in my life. Tomorrow tomorrow I have a day off, so I'm gonna watch Game Night. Maybe I'll see A Wrinkle in Time. This might be my only chance to see A Wrinkle in Time without children being there, but I'm pretty sure I'm just going to watch Game Night. And I think I'm going to enjoy myself. I know I will enjoy myself. It's going to be real fun, guys. I'm going to be alone. It's going to be 1:30. I pray I'm alone. But it's going to be 1:30 at this Aurora Cineplex up here, my movie theater of choice. Nice and cheap. It's $2 off Tuesdays, which means that my ticket's going to be like $3, I believe. What time? It's at 1:30. So that means my ticket, if I go before noon, it's $5. But if I go afternoon, I think it's $7. So I think it might be $5. Regardless, I want to watch this movie. Heard good things about it. Heard real good things about it. I actually know somebody who worked on that film. And I don't know, doing of course, doing behind the camera work. PA stuff. Also asked that person how to get into the industry. She did not offer me anything. Barely even gave me advice. Ended the conversation in less than 3 messages. That's not funny. You know what? I can't wait till I am in a position where I can help people out, even if it's just with advice. I cannot. That's going to be one of the better things that I can do. Because if someone had even offered to tell me things, just to sit down and have a chat with me, then and I'm not saying people haven't done that. When I talk to comedians, and even when I talk to people who aren't even that huge, but they're successful and they've made it. I'm thinking of two people right now who, I'll just name them because no one's listening to this podcast. Dave Ebert. Is that his name? Ebert? And Diallo Riddle from Marlon. Dave Ebert was on Not Exactly News on MTV. And see, this is why I remember these very specific things about these guys. Also, those were 2 interviews that I think lasted for over half an hour each. But both of them, we were just jamming back and forth, having wonderful conversation. And then I talked to some other people who, and one other person, I'm not gonna say man or woman, but this person was not having it when I was interviewing them. And every time I see this person on television, well, I don't see him on television a lot, but he was on I said he, whatever. He was on an episode of a TV show that I review, and just recently, and I thought, man, that guy was very mean to me the time that he was, and I was interviewing him. But you know what? That's in the past. I believe he was having a rough week. I believe he was sick as well, but still. Anyway, Dave Ebert and Diallo Riddle both offered me just advice and stuff like that, and it was very nice. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to sit down. I'm very thankful, first of all, when I sit down with a comedian and have a conversation with them, or a composer, because I've talked to 2 composers. When I sit down with somebody I interview, We have a long conversation, and then they go, "Oh, this is great," and then they thank me, and I go, "No, thank you." That is my favorite part. I love it. I love it. I love it so much. The least favorite part is writing it, is typing everything up, but I got to do it. But I love talking to people, especially when they're appreciative of even talking to a website that barely gets enough views to register on the Richter scale of Andy Richter scale, the Andy Richter scale of of website hits. What I'm saying is I appreciate Dave Ebert and Diallo Riddle. Two wonderful guys, and I wish them the best of luck. Diallo's on that Marlon TV show, and he's sold a TV show to HBO, I believe, with Bashir Salahuddin. I hope I'm pronouncing that last name right. I'm not even going to look it up, just knowing that I pronounced it right. Anyway, let's move on to the things that I have written down on the topics for the week list. I'm going to start with Beyond Scared Straight, because I've been really getting back into that show. I love that show so much. If you don't know what Beyond Scared Straight is, it's a continuation of what the Scared Straight, I believe that was in the 80s or 90s. Let's look it up. Scared Straight was 90s. It was 90s. Oh, 78. Oh my gosh. It was in the 70s and 80s, late 70s, 80s. It was a documentary series that utilized real inmates in prisons to scare bad kids into being good kids. And I think it's great. I think we should continue doing these things. But they have, and basically a lot of prisons around the country have adopted this program where they're just trying to get the kids to avoid prison life. So now there are Scared Straight programs all around the country. I assume the world, because Scared Straight's wonderful. And so what happens is these kids are bad. They sneak out of their houses. They talk back. They've been arrested before. They have police called on them. They fight. They do all these different things, and now their parents sign them up for this program, and a camera crew for Beyond Scared Straight, because this is the aughts, the 2010s version of Scared Straight. So the parents sign them up for these programs, and these kids get taken to a local jail, and so a lot of them, for some reason, a lot of them are in the South, and a lot of them are in Georgia, and a lot of them are in Fulton County. And these kids get sent to these prisons, and they just experience what prison life is like. They get most of the time, they generally follow a pattern. So they get taken to these jails. They get treated with the same intake as the regular prisoners would be. So they have to not strip their clothes, of course, but they put on these jumpsuits. They eat the same food. They meet up with people, with men and women barking at them through their. It's not even. There's not a lot of them don't have jail cells. A lot of them are plastic cages, which is very scary to see. But these kids are being yelled at, and they're just being screamed at, and it's so scary. And I'm so glad I was a good boy when I was growing up. And why does it have an IMDb page? Why does Beyond Scared Straight have an IMDb page? Who are these people? First of all, I don't. Why do these kids have IMDb pages? Are these people are they using it? Are they getting more jobs from this? DJ King Assassin, he was in a lot of stuff. The King Assassin Show. What is this? What in the world? Are some of these people actors? Are they lying to me? I am so mad right now. Anyway, Beyond Scared Straight is a great docu-series. I believe it's over. It ran from 2011 to 2015 on the A&E network. You can watch it all on Hulu. There's 83 episodes. I urge you to watch 83 of them. It does get tiresome, but it's such a good palate cleanser. I love that show so much. Then let's move on to The Grinch. There's a new Grinch movie coming from Illumination. This is not a new show. But I saw this trailer, and I thought, Do we need another Grinch movie? How far removed are we from the last one? The Jim Carrey one, I believe, came out in 03 or 02 or 04, in the early aughts. I like saying aughts. So the Jim Carrey one came out relatively recently, within the past decade or so. Definitely or so, in the past decade and a half. What should we call that? 2 decades? You want to round up? Yeah, let's do that. In the past 2 decades. Because that would make it, it's 2018? Yeah, okay. I'm looking at my engineer, and he's giving me a thumbs up. My engineer's name is Ron. If you watch News Time, then you know Ron is an invisible producer that I talk to off camera to pretend like News Time is important. Anyway, Illumination is new in the Grinch movie. Benedict Cumberbatch is voicing the Grinch, and it just seems like an Illumination movie with a Grinch overlay on it, which I guess is fine because those movies make money. Anything that they do makes money. They're also doing the Mario movie, which is very strange. I don't know. I know the Shigeru Miyamoto. I think Miyamoto is the one who spoke to the head of the Illumination. Illumination is a French animation company, and they've done Despicable Me, the Minions movies, Secret Life of Pets, and another movie I'm forgetting that's obviously not as important as. I wonder for Secret Life of Pets too, if they're going to bring back Louis C.K. I doubt they will, and what I think they should do is move on to another set of pets. I don't think they should. They're in New York. They don't have to follow the same template that literally every cartoon sequel has ever followed. If there's an Oliver and Company 2 movie, I would love it to be about I don't know why is it Oliver, or how about We're Back at Dinosaur Story 2? It's all about another set of dinosaurs that were alive. Or so for Oliver and Company 2, it'd be Oliver and Company again. I mean, a different set of animals. So for Secret Life of Pets, is what I'm saying is they should get more animals. Don't bring back Kevin Hart. Don't bring back Eric Stone Street. Don't bring back Louis C.K. Obviously not Louis C.K. But have a different set of pets. I'm just saying. I think Paula Patton was a cat. I don't recall. All right. The Grinch movie, Illumination. It looks weird. Just watch the trailer. It looks like an Illumination movie, and it doesn't look like Horton Hears a Who. I believe that was 20th century, not 20th century. That's the independent one. No, Fox Searchlight. No, I believe Horton Hears a Who, the movie. Horton Hears a Who the film was I'm going to say, I haven't clicked enter yet on my Google search. I'm going to say it's either Fox or Blue Sky. Blue Sky is owned by Fox. It's let's check it out, Shad, you idiot. Horton Hears a Who film. 2008, made $297 million and a budget of $85 million. 20th Century Fox. I was right. And Blue Sky. I was double right. Man, that's a good film. That is a good movie. I was going to say cartoon. That's a wonderful, fantastic film. That was a Blue Skies movie. Their movie, Blue Skies, Ferdinand was nominated for an Oscar, also because there were very limited cartoon movies this year, with the exception of Lego Batman, which should have been nominated for a freaking Oscar. I don't understand this. How are they making so many Ice Age movies? I tried to watch Collision Course. I don't think I finished it. I fell asleep. I tried to watch it over the course of 2 weeks. I fell asleep in the middle of it. I dropped the marker. That's how boring that movie is. I dropped the marker. That's how boring it is. All right, but let's move on to what I was really wanting to talk about. I went to Redbox twice this weekend, right after work, right after serving all day long. I went back in. I went to Redbox and I said I gotta get some movies. I gotta catch up on these Oscar winners and losers. And this is my favorite time of the year to watch movies because there are so many movies available, and now that we have so many avenues of watching them, so many streams, so many ways of watching them, it's just so easy. Florida Project, I watched. Wonderful film. Willem Dafoe and a bunch of kids. It's a wonderful. I watched it on a Saturday morning before work. That was a very strange way to watch that film, but it's about these kids that live just a stone's throw away from the Disney World or Disneyland in Florida. but they live in these crappy motels, and their parents are literally scraping by just to get money. And it's a wonderful film. And these kids, I do not like kids, but man, these kids were so talented, cursing and stuff, screaming at each other. The woman, there's a woman that was found over Instagram to star. We're almost twins. If she was born 16 days later, we'd be twins. She was found. Her name is Bria Vinite. And she has a lot of tattoos. She really, that role was really meant for her. Willem Dafoe plays the manager of the motel is called the Magic Castle Motel. It's not magic. It's garbage. It's filthy. It's really good. It tells a simple story, not simple, but it tells a simple story of these kids just being kids, how they spend every day of their summer by themselves, walking around the greater Kissimmee, Florida area. Yeah. And it sucks. They live right outside Walt Disney World. Okay. A24 produced this movie, distributed this movie. I'm sorry. It was I love A24, and I'm going to do an episode of News Time about them and the rise of their work. If you don't know them, they're an independent film distributor. They buy films. They're like Netflix. They buy films and they send them out. Anyway, it's a good movie. You should watch it. I don't think Willem Dafoe should have been nominated for an award for that. It doesn't make sense because the movie is, I would say, 1/3 about the kids, 1/3 about Willem, and then 1/3, he's the manager of the hotel, and then 1/3 about the Haley, which is Bria Viante, the Instagram model. I don't understand. But these kids are wonderful, and I hope they do well. Also, Caleb Landry Jones was in that movie, and he was in another movie that I watched this weekend. He was another movie I watched this weekend. It was 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. I'll get to that in a second. So one thing I don't like about this movie, and I actually have a very big issue with Sean Baker, who's the director of this movie, and I think he wrote the movie as well. He made a movie called Tangerine in 2015. It was released in 2015. And he shot it on an iPhone. All right. And that was the whole story around it. Oh, he shot on an iPhone. Oh, it wasn't about that. It was about transgender sex workers. It wasn't about this and that. It was about this guy shot it with 3 iPhone 5S's. Also, what my friend told me, who was a big cinematographer fan, so big that he spends all of his money on nice cameras and editing. He and his partner spend nice money, filming partner spend money on these cameras, these drones and all this stuff. They spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on this stuff. And he told me that Baker shot the movie Tangerine on an iPhone with a very expensive lens. So there you go. No, the entire story, every story is about them shooting on iPhones. No, they bought a $1,000 lens apparently. I'm not even going to look that up to double check. Anyway, that being said, the last minute of the movie of the Florida Project goes back to being shot on the iPhone. Like the entire movie's, so Tangerine was shot on iPhone. Florida Project wasn't. It was shot with regular cameras until you get to the last minute of the movie where they're running through Disneyland. Since you can't take cameras into Disneyland, they shot an iPhone. They're running through Disneyland, and it was admittedly jarring, but I guess it was fine in the end. It was shot on 35 millimeter, and then they went back to. He was using his iPhone 6s Plus. God, that makes me so mad. Who cares? Don't use a phone to shoot. The phone should not be used to shoot anything important. All right, take it seriously. Oh, he wrote an entire book in calligraphy on legal paper, on legal pads, and we just photocopied it, and now we're going to sell it. Don't do that. Okay, moving on. 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. This is a very polarizing film, starring Frances McDormand. That's when she won for and the Oscars. Well, Woody Harrelson, Sam Rockwell, Wonderful film. It's just so I loved it so much. It felt more like a play that was turned into a movie, and I would love to see it as a play. And I don't know how it would work as a play, but I think it would. I think it would do really well as a play. And it was it was so it's very funny. It's a dramatic film, but it's very funny in the worst places, the worst possible places, and it gets very comedic in those places as well. Martin McDonagh is the director and writer of the film. There's a lot of things that if you have an issue with some stuff, then you probably shouldn't watch it. You have an issue with racism, domestic violence, assault, just that stuff in general. Just avoid it so you're not triggered or anything. But it's a very good movie. I enjoyed it a lot, and like I said, it's very funny at points. If I mean, there's one scene where Frances McDormand's ex-husband comes up to the house. So the entire thing of the movie is, in the first 5 minutes of the movie, she rents out these 3 billboards. Her daughter was raped and killed, and the police aren't doing anything to find the killer. And so her husband finds out about this, comes to the house, and he then, after a conversation, he flips the table over and he starts to choke her. And then their son's there, and he has a knife around the dad's neck, and then the dad's new girlfriend comes in, and it is the funniest thing, because she goes, "Oh, this seems like I was gonna ask you to use the bathroom, but this seems like a bad time to use the bathroom, so I'm just not gonna ask because it looks like a bad time to use the bathroom." It's so wonderful. Peter Dinklage is in it. Yeah, it's just a really good movie. I think everybody, if you think you're gonna like it, then watch it. If you're not, then don't, because it's not for you. It's not for everybody. Not everything's for everybody. Also, I saw Beatriz at Dinner. That is a Salma Hayek movie. Did not turn out to be anything I thought it was gonna be. I liked it. That's not to say I didn't like it, but I liked it. But it did not turn out to be anything I thought it was going to be. The movie was written by Mike White, who you know as the guy who did he did the Emoji Movie. What the heck? Nacho Libre, School of Rock, Pitch Perfect 3. Oh my God, Brad status. Okay, cool. I'll watch that. The D Train. He was in the D Train. He was in Enlightened. What else did he do? Orange County, Dawson's Creek, Freaks and Geeks. Man, good for him. Anyway, so he did, and he wrote that movie, Beatriz at Dinner, and Miguel Arteta is the one who directed it. Oh, he also did. He's in Duck Butter too. Is he in it, or did he direct it? Yeah, he directed Duck Butter. That's a new Duplass brothers movie coming out. I can't wait. It's gonna be great. I rhymed. Anyway, Beatriz at Dinner is about a holistic cancer, I don't want to say doctor, but healer, played by Salma Hayek. She her car breaks down at a dinner party of a friends / clients, and she has to stay there with John Lithgow, Connie Britton, Jay Duplass, Amy Langdecker, Chloe Sevigny from Big Love, and who's David Warshawski? Anyway, my watch has told me to walk. I walked almost 20,000 steps a day. I think I deserve to sit down. So Beatriz at Dinner is about her, and she thinks she knows who John Lithgow's character is. Turns out he caused her hometown in I believe Mexico a lot of strife, and she's trying to get revenge on him in the middle of this dinner party. That's pretty much it. I mean, it's a very strange movie, very picturesque movie as well. Watch it if you like. I think Salma Hayek's great, and how does she remain gorgeous after all these years? She's in her 50s. She's just fantastic. It's the Spanish in her blood. Moving on to Roman J. Israel Esquire. It's a legal movie from Dan Gilroy, who wrote and directed this film. He's a guy who did Nightcrawler, and he co-wrote Kong Skull Island, and I like both those movies, and Real Steel. I did not like the new Born Legacy 2012. I believe that's the one with Jeremy Renner. I saw that in theaters. That's the only Bourne movie I've ever seen. I was lost. He also did Free Jack. That's very strange. Free Jack. It takes place in 2009. It was shot. It was made in 2002. Emilio Estevez, Mick Jagger, Rene Russo, Anthony Hopkins. Look at that lineup. Oh my gosh. Free Jack. That is not a good film. Anyway, Roman J. Israel is about Denzel Washington's character, Roman J. Israel, Esquire, and he's a lawyer and activist working for a small law firm in Los Angeles. What if I just read the whole plot synopsis on Wikipedia? His partner dies, and his office. He's not particularly the best at his job. Okay. So his partner's the one who took care of the stuff inside the courtroom. He's the one who did stuff outside the courtroom, and he's like the savant. He's essentially what Rain Man is. He's essentially what A Beautiful Mind is. I mean, every character is named after, every main character is named after the title of the movie. Kong Skull Island, right? No, he's a savant, but he's on the spectrum. And so I don't know. It's weird. It's a strange movie, and that I'm gonna tell you right now, that is a movie that is not for everyone. But you know what? I liked. Here's an issue. So it's, and Colin Farrell's in it as well, and so Colin Farrell's character was friends with Denzel Washington's partner's character. He has a law practice too, and he bought Roman J. Israel's law practice. He just hired Roman J. Israel, Denzel Washington, and now he's doing work for them. And then that's it. That's the entire movie. So, Roman J. Israel doesn't have a car in Los Angeles. He walks around everywhere, and yeah, that's it. So about halfway through this movie, I just want to get this part really quick. Halfway through this movie, the movie ends. This movie is 2 hours and 2 minutes long. An hour into the movie, I swear on my life, this movie ends. It just stops. The Roman's character has a love interest, and they like each other. He gets money somehow. He's doing well at this job. He's moving into a new apartment out of this squalor box that he was living in, and that's how the movie ends. The movie could have ended there, and I'd have been fine. The movie could have been 70 minutes long, and I would have been fine. But then Gilroy starts introducing these weird elements where Israel, and it's never explained. I kept waiting for it to be explained. Israel, and I think it's something. Israel's. I'll tell you what it is before I keep talking. Israel starts hearing ringings and stuff that he wasn't hearing at the beginning of the film. He's talking to himself. He's not understanding what anyone else is saying, and he's just generally being weirder than he usually was when we were watching the movie. And then, but Gilroy never explains where this is coming from. He does something to get money that's unethical, not kind of unethical. It is unethical, and he gets $100,000 in reward money by doing this thing, and then that's it. I mean, and then they don't do anything to explain. I believe it's guilt. I don't know why they didn't decide to explore this option, but I don't know. It's very strange, and I don't want to press myself to continue looking at this, but yeah, it's whatever. Like, why would you have a character? Don't introduce character traits and then not explore them? It's like iZombie's on right now, of course, because I'm recording this too late. About 12 hours before it goes up. iZombie is on right now. Why would imagine if I think we're 4 seasons in. Let me double check. I believe we're 4. Yep, 4 seasons in. So we're 4 seasons in. What if we just introduce that Liv, the main character, can eat brains and she can see visions halfway through the series' life? It doesn't make sense. But I think iZombie's a great show. No, we're talking about Roman J. Israel. No, Roman J. Israel was, I don't know. I mean, just the first half was a little bit slow, but it was fine. It was good. But Roman's whole thing was that he was an activist and that he stood up for little people. He was a criminal defense attorney, I believe. I don't know. They only paid him $500 a week, which I thought was very strange at his first job. $500 a week? I only know that because Colin Farrell's character mentioned it, and I thought to myself, can you live on that in Los Angeles? because I know apartments out there. I'm looking for apartments, and I just further up the road in San Jose. That's not further up the road. That's not. It's like 6 hours away. I'm looking for in Northern California. I'm looking for apartments, and those are good ones. Are 2,500, 2,400. You know, how can you live? I don't understand. Anyway, and he keeps hearing ringing, and it just bothers me so much. It just bothers me so much, and he just rambling. It seems like he has like a mixture of Asperger's and Alzheimer's. Just a double A disease. He's like the Gwinnett Braves, double A. See, now, let me explain that joke. That joke is not good, but it was meant to be funny, but it makes sense because there's one of the feeder teams for the Atlanta Braves is the minor league team is the Gwinnett Braves. And you know what? The more I talk about it, the less it gets funny. So I'm just going to go ahead and end this episode of the Constitutionals. Hey, listen, if you like this, why don't you head on over to cpluscomedy.com where we got the latest news, reviews, features, interviews, and other good comedy bits that only I can provide you with. You can follow us on Twitter at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter at childblackwhite. Like us on Facebook. Head to the YouTube page, youtube.com/cpluscomedy. It's where we house our, what's it called? Our main show, which is called News Time. It's the only reason I continue this website. So sad, but it's the truth. News Time is a great show that I love so much. I love doing it. It's a news show, weekly news show where I choose one topic and I just talk about it, but I write a script and it's highly produced. It's overproduced. And this week's episode is we talk about Frances McDormand, her Oscar speech. We explain what a writer is. She's talking about inclusion writers. And a lot of people don't know what that is. I explain what inclusion writer is. I'd even go as far back as to explain what a writer is, because that is how news works, because that's what I have to do. A writer, if you don't know, is something that famous people have so that they feel comfortable before they're performing. So it's a bunch of requests. It's just a list of requests. So musicians, Taylor Swift has one. She wants, if you arrive before, one of her things is if you arrive before, because your rider can be as long as you want it to be. It's RIDER, by the way. So Taylor Swift has, if you arrive at her tour bus before 11 a.m., you have to bring Starbucks with you, like Starbucks coffee. She also asked for a lot of candy, I believe. I think Van Halen has a very extensive rider. Grace Jones does. She's the one I covered in News Time, because hers is crazy. She likes to shuck oysters. Just watch News Time, and I explain it all. So yeah, there you go. That's what a writer is. Watch it. I explain what a writer is, and I explain where inclusion writers came from, how long they've been around. Let's tell you right now that Frances McDormand is not the one who started inclusion writers. She just learned what it was 2 weeks ago. So there's a woman who's at the University of Southern California who's been working to get equality right in Hollywood for the past, I'd say, decade or so. Let's do a double decade. What did I say it was before? 2 decades? Let's raise it on up to 2 decades. Anyway, yeah, go watch it. It's a very good episode of News Time, if I do say so myself. And one day I will continue on comedy. I just got one more idea for it today, so maybe we'll see. I have not a lot more free time, but I have a lot more flexible time. Even with 3 jobs, I mean, it took News Time barely got out, but I'm not going to lie. News Time barely got out, but that's what life is. So go watch it, please. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening to the Constitutionals podcast. Continue subscribing. I love you. Bye.